So this was pretty much my first guitar lesson in college, and I basically walked in the door knowing how to play 4 kinds of 7th chords on the A string and 4 kinds of 7th chords on the E string. So I knew how to play like C major 7, C7, C minor 7, C half diminished. And then I knew how to do the same thing on the 6th string. So G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G half diminished. And my teacher at the time, John Pell, he showed me how to take a C7 chord on the top 4 strings and invert it all the way across the guitar. And it gave me the tools to figure out a lot of voicings that I didn't know. So pretty much he showed me these, which, so all these chords are gonna be C7. This first one here, we've got the 3rd, the flat 7, the root, and the 5th. The next shape is gonna be 5th, root, 3rd, flat 7. And both of those I'm kind of referencing this C right here on the A string. So I'm kind of visualizing that root note when I'm playing these chords. Next one's gonna be flat 7, 3, 5, 1. And now I'm kind of looking at the low E string, kind of coming out of that bar chord shape. And then the last one's gonna be 1, 5, flat 7, 3. And when I get to the top, I try and connect it to the initial voicing that I had an octave up. So once you get to the top, move your way back down. So once again, so we got C7, 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 back to where we started. And basically he made me run those in all 12 keys to where I could just kind of vomit those voicings out. So we'd practice it kind of like this. He'd maybe play each voicing twice. Once we got back down to the bottom, I'd have to move to the next key around the circle of fourths. Next key would be F, so I do the same thing with F7. So these are the same, exact same voicings, just in a different key. So, and I would always start with the lowest one that I could play. So this F7 is kind of coming out of that bar chord. So we got the one with the flat 7 on the bottom. Then the root, 1, 5, flat 7, 3. 3, flat 7, 1, 5. 5, 1, 3, flat 7, and back. Then B flat, E flat, and so on and so forth. So after I could do that, then I took a look at one of the voicings. Let's say I did this one. I said, okay, I've got 5, 1, 3, flat 7. And when I was looking inside the major scale, I was like, okay, there's major 7 chords, there's dominant 7 chords, there's minor 7 chords, and there's half diminished chords. So I figured out how to, I guess, alter the notes to get the other chords that happen in the key. So I started here with C7. If I take the 7 here on the high E and move it here, I get C major 7. So I get C major 7, C7, and then if I want a minor 7 chord, I'd take this note and drop it back. So I've got basically 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7. If I want C half diminished, I add the flat 5. And so now instead of just one dominant voicing, I had a major 7, dominant, minor 7, half diminished. And once this was there, then I would take these kinds of voicings all the way through the chord scale of the key. So I'd say, okay, key is C major. I'd say C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B half diminished, C major 7. You can do the same thing with this one down here. So here we've got 3, flat 7, 1, 5. If I want a major 7, I gotta move the flat 7 to a major 7th. So that's that voicing. Back to the dominant, if I want a minor 7, I gotta lower the 3rd. If I want a half diminished, I gotta lower the 5th. So then I would do the same kind of thing with that voicing. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B half diminished, C major 7.